Hello and welcome to the 29th edition of PÖFF, Tallinn Black Nights Film Festival. This is PÖFF TV, Meet the Filmmakers, a chance to get to know the people that made the film that are screening here at PÖFF for this year main competition. I'm Massimo Iannetti, I'm part of the programming team, and I'm delighted to have here Faye Book, the producer of The Frog and the Water. So welcome, Faye. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us here. Thank you for having me here.
The Frog and the Water is one of those films that as soon as we saw it, we were like, this needs to be part of the festival, and not just the festival, this needs to be part of the main competition, because it's a film that is full of kindness and heart and genuine care all around. So we urge our audiences to come and see it, because this is going to be a very heartwarming evening for everyone.
That's what we intended to do, so I'm happy that it came across for the screening, because of course you always think like the script has been with us for I think 15 years. Thomas, really the best director we could ever have wished for this project, was involved since almost 7 or 8 years, and I think it was always the main goal to make a film about friendship and warmth and like everything, kindness to the heart, because we thought in this world at the moment we need films like that even more. So I'm very happy that you invited us and that it's part of the competition. We couldn't have wished for a better place to have the world premiere.
That's so great to hear.
Yeah.
And I mean, it'd be interesting to see in this span of 15 years when you sort of join the project, and when did you realize, oh, this is a film that I want to be part of?
Yeah, so it's one of those rare cases actually where this script was a script that was sent in, like just randomly sent in, being like, oh, here's a script, would you like to do it? And a lot of times like those scripts get read but not really considered. But this time there was something in the script that we were like, oh, there's something, there's the core to the story that we really from the beginning thought that's something so unique. But it took quite a long time, because the whole inclusion in film was 15 years ago. Nobody thought about really casting someone like Aladdin for the main cast, and it really became, I'm so happy that it became more, not easy because it was still hard, but it became more doable in the last couple of years to cast someone like Aladdin and still get the financing for a film like that. So we're really happy that like the film came to us, but it really came like Gotthard, the script author, who never did a film script. Actually, it's his first film script. He's an artist and does theater, and now he just sent it in, and he told me yesterday that someone gave him a list of production companies, and we were the lucky ones on the first space, and he just sent it in, and we said, okay, let's do it. But then it took like 15 years, so he needed to learn to wait. Yeah.
That's very interesting what you're saying, because there seems to be a lot of maybe we can call it first times, but also like risks that has been taken to make this film, or a type of risk approach,
Yeah.
which I feel then is almost the opposite of what the film gives away, because the film gives away a sense of somehow comfort, and of course there is a sense of risk that Aladdin takes within the film, but it comes out of a space of care and love and warmth, which is very nice. And I mean, you mentioned this already, but it'd be interesting to maybe understand a little bit more around the dynamic between Aladdin and Kenji in the film, because their dynamic is mostly based on silences. It's mostly based on recognizing each other's eyes and gestures and gazes.
Yeah.
And how did you and Thomas, the director, sort of develop this dynamic on set?
On set, so it was Thomas. Like he was so involved. Like he really gave it all. Like I respect him so much for what he did, because it wasn't easy, like having Aladdin that we trained, like we cast Aladdin already a year before shooting, and we already kind of rehearsed with him for over a year before shooting, but still it's Aladdin. And then Kanji came into the mix, and he doesn't speak English, so we always had Yoe on set, who also helped with the script. Yoe Yamamoto, who is a really big partner for Thomas in this thing, and he was translating. But so even on set, there was this whole thing about communication being very hard. And Thomas just kind of kept a cool head in kind of trying to make it happen. And then I have to say, of course, that Kanji and Aladdin, there was this, even in real life, there was this bond. And I can't explain because I was there. I was lucky enough to be there when they first met. And there was like this friendship from the beginning, somehow without communication, even the real people. So there was kind of this realness coming to the coming to the screen. And I think that's what you see in the film is just a real friendship, a real brotherhood of the two people getting to know each other without words, because even in real life they couldn't communicate at all. And yeah. And then, it's about communication, I would say. Like, the whole thing is, like, I thought about yesterday when I watched it again with Aladdin, that I don't know if you, probably you don't know, like this music, what Thomas decided on, like, we don't have music with lyrics, actually. Like, all of the music, even if there seems to be lyrics, it's all invented languages. Like, we didn't use music with real languages, but we used only like fake languages, or like to demonstrate that we don't need to talk to communicate. I think that's kind of the main thing that we need to learn again, that communication is so much more than just talking. It's being together and living together and seeing each other. It's most of all, it's seeing each other as who we are, and that's what the two protagonists are doing. They see each other without words.
And I think in this case there is a poetic and lyrical aspect to this idea on communication and communication without speaking, without words. And I think the visual style also helps a lot, because this is a film that somehow is part road trip and part fairy tale. And I think the fairy tale aspect really comes out of the score, as you were saying, and of the visual style. So it'd be interesting also to maybe get a sense of how the cinematographer of the film sort of help out bring this.
Yes, so we were lucky to have Philipp Zumbon from Switzerland being our DOP, that we valued a lot, because he was such a, like, again, like the perfect partner for Thomas to do the film. And it is a German-Swiss co-production, so it was kind of natural, but then we were lucky enough to get him as a DOP, and I think both of them just worked very hard on kind of the cinematic language, and also, of course, like what you probably have seen, like the format, that we are playing with format. Again, trying to have this format of people being alone, being a little bit smaller, the world view being a bit smaller, and when they're together, they kind of, the whole world widens, which happens, of course, for all of us if we meet people that we like. And so there was all like kind of Philip and Thomas's playing together, and it was amazing to see them together and to kind of developing this language. And also kind of the colors, of course, we shot in summer, and we were lucky enough to have like only raining days during the weekends, and we couldn't believe our luck of having like we were just kind of having sunshine all the time, because we want to make a warm film and a lush film and a green film, and to show the beauty also in German landscapes. Like we shot a lot on the eastern part of Germany that normally in a lot of films is portrayed as grey and cold, and we were like, no, let's do it in summer when it's warm, and when it's actually this beautiful landscape that helps Kanji to open up, and that helps Buschi to also open up to Kanji, because as we know, summer is helping people to open up to other people, and it's easier to be in the warmth when it's warm. Yeah.
It's very nice, and I think it's very interesting by talking right now to see how many stars have aligned somehow to make this film be here and screening at PÖFF. I wanted to maybe also ask you about some of the nitty-gritty, more difficult aspects of your job as a producer, because this is also, I mean, we talk about all the positive aspects, the interesting, the beauty of the film making, but also I think you're screening in many different countries. I think there must have been quite some challenges in bringing this film together. Do you remember one that you are maybe particularly fond of now that it's over, now that the film is here and it's screening and all is well with the words?
you know, like I have this tendency to look back and be happy about things, so I'm not so good. And I can remember that the financing wasn't always easy. Actually, like the financing to have, even if we're saying like it's good to be inclusive, like there were some doubts about Aladdin being the main cast, which we were very tired of argumenting of him being the main cast, because a lot of, like, sometimes it happened that people, even if they want to do the right thing, like even if they want to say the right thing, they said things like, oh, he wants to play it, he doesn't know better. And I was always like, you know what, please don't talk about him like that. And there's a lot of like the whole system in Germany about people with disabilities actually being paid, having like that was actually really tricky for us to get a way to pay him a decent wage, actually, because in the system he's allowed to go into pension much earlier, but that's only because he's only getting a small amount of money. But of course we wanted to pay him like a proper amount of wage. And like this whole thing, that was actually something that in the end it worked out, because a lot of people helped us in making it happen for Aladdin. But I have to admit, like, I saw a lot of the scene in the inclusive scene in Germany, and I don't know how it is in Europe, but in Germany, and I saw a lot of kind of budget cuts at the moment and funding cuts, and the whole discussion about how much responsibility people can have with disabilities and things. So I would say that was an eye-opener, and that was also sometimes a bit tricky to comprehend, and it took me a long time to get into that mind space of where I had to kind of act differently. And sorry, now I'm drifting away with this thing, but that was kind of probably like that's not gritty, but I remember being a lot of time frustrated about the society and about how people like Aladdin are perceived, and how hard it is sometimes to kind of make things happen, because there's so much bureaucracy around it that you need to kind of find the way. I would say that. And then of course like the whole traveling and the whole going to Japan, and it was 40 degrees and 90% humidity, and everybody, like, it was crazy. Of course it was crazy, as filmmaking is crazy, like trying to get all this film done in 30 shooting days all over Europe, like all over Germany, Europe, and then Japan. That was, of course, something that was a task, I would say. It was a task, and we did it. But now seeing the film again, I'm like, oh my God, how did we all do that? Like, it's a lot for the amount, for the budget we had. Like, I think we did a good job in putting it on screen, because it looks bigger than it actually was, definitely.
Indeed. And it seems this film is a lot about defying the odds by chatting with you and talking about the film. So I mean, when we saw it, we never thought of a film about disability. I don't think this is the main, and it makes it even harder to hear that was then one of the main source of frustration, in a way, from a production point of view, and from a sort of like bringing the film alive. But it's even more. I'm even more glad to hear that the film has been made, that the film is here. The film, it will be screening at PÖFF. So we are really looking forward to seeing this film, and we urge everyone to come to see this film, The Frog in the Water. It's an amazing film, insane story, genuine, warm, and again, great cast. So we'll have a chance to talk with Aladdin and some other crew members. So please do join us, and thank you again, Faye, for your time.
Thank you very much for the nice talk. Thank you.